government of St. Martin was hit by a cyber attack on Monday, April 3rd. The impact of the cyber attack has shut down all ICT systems within the government administration building. Thus, all departments that render service to the public were closed on Monday and remain closed until further notice. An assessment of the situation is taking place, and updates will be disseminated to the public as to when ICT systems has been fully restored. I would also like to take this moment to express my sincere apologies to the civil servants for any inconvenience that we have 4 coolers that has broken down, and the building is very hot. So I know at times it's very, very difficult to work in certain departments. So let me take the opportunity here to express my sincere apologies and note that the relevant departments are doing everything possible to ensure that those coolers are back up and running within short. Today I will be leaving to Curaçao, where I'll be attending the meeting of foreign affairs ministers within the Kingdom of the Netherlands, the Prime Ministers of Aruba, Curaçao, and Minister Stefanos Blok of the Netherlands. He will be present. The agenda point will include discussions on Venezuela and its impact on the Dutch Caribbean islands, St. Martin post-hurricane recovery efforts, European Union relations as it relates to the post-2020 negotiations on the relationship of OCTs within the European Union, and evaluating the importance of St. Martin participating in regional organizations such as CARICOM, the Association of Caribbean States, and Overseas Countries and Territories Associations.
MSC Cruises, Next Generation Cruise Ship, Seaside, made its inaugural call. This vessel is a completely new prototype, pushing the boundaries of innovative ship design and building. MSC Seaside was scheduled to visit in December 2017, but Hurricane Irma changed their itinerary plans. I will be leaving in a few minutes to visit them and to also welcome them to our port. On Friday, April 6th, my skiff 6 will be making its inaugural call to our port as well. Port St. Martin and I will be welcoming this new vessel with the traditional plaque exchange. I would like to congratulate Port St. Martin's management and marketing strategists for a job well done by focusing on the German market. Both inaugurations are obvious signs of confidence in St. Martin as a destination and our recovery. During this time of recovery, we need to market St. Martin well. Overall, my message today is one of hope. However, we cannot become complacent and take this industry for granted. We cannot sit back and expect our tourists to come to us. We must go out there and bring them to St. Martin. Those are my 2 announcements, which are very short. And if you have any questions, you can pose them now because I will be leaving in 2 minutes. So if there are no questions, I will go ahead and meet MSC Seaside. No questions? Thank you very much. Have a Mr. Hard.
One question from me. The plan of approach for the border control, is that complete? Mr. De Wever, the plan of approach for the border control, is that completed and is that available for us?
Let me double check on that one and if it's available to you, but I know that we've worked on it and we've met with our stakeholders as well, so everything should be in place. It's also part of our recovery as well. Thank you, Mr. Howard.
I have a question for you, Minister. Can you provide some information regarding the renovation currently taking place at the prison?
There are no renovations currently taking place at the prison.
The work at the prison, how far are you?
We are busy. In principle, the Council of Ministers and I have agreed that we have to build a new prison. So that's a general consensus. In order to do that, we have to select a project manager, and then based on that, we'll start making the preparations for it.
TELEM, connecting you.
GEBE has been faithfully serving the communities of St. Martin, powering your home and our economy. Come rain or shine, our qualified team of professionals are working hard 24 hours a day to provide you and your family with safe, reliable electricity and water. We use the latest technologies and test our products daily to maintain the highest international standards. Our friendly staff is always there to assist you, whether in person, over the phone, or online. We are committed to constantly improving our products and services, making them more efficient, effective, and environmentally friendly to serve you better today and our next generation of clients tomorrow. GEBE, powering a brighter future.
Our friend Megawati is here with tips to save you energy. 1. Turn your airco temperature up. 2. Use a ceiling fan instead. 3. Buy energy-saving products. Save some green with NVGEBE.
Like to say on the way forward, the unions will be mobilizing their membership on this issue. It is very strange to note that these austerity measures are just being pushed down the throat of civil servants, hard-working civil servants, because if there were no consultation, Holland knows that this cannot pass in Holland because they have the consultation, the overleg, which we call overleg. I'll say it because this tape goes all over. Overleg orgaan, the polder model, and they know here in St. Martin, if the Minister of Finance did not realize that there is a certain structure as unions, we have been able to establish what we call the social dialogue. We also have a body that is the advisory body when it comes to civil servant matters, which is the GOA, and none of the consultations that was held, well then we would have to actually return these measures to sender, return to sender, because they cannot fly in St. Martin at this time. And as unions, we are not afraid to do that, to put on the stamp of St. Martin strong and send it back to where it come from, because we have been, as unions, I've been 24 years as president, we have been confronted with a number of measures in the past. From Cabinet Maria Liberia Peters, you remember the 10% crisis effing and so forth. But these are the things that we were looking keenly when that 550 million euros were being put at World Bank. I know where the central bank is located in Phillipsburg, but up to now I can't find the location of the World Bank in St. Martin. And I am still seeing that a lot of people have to draw their own resources, a lot of civil servants, their own resources to actually fund and repair and do the necessary repair to get their lives back together. So this is a matter that is not going to be taken lightly at all when it comes to the unions. And I hereby dare speak on behalf of the Windward Islands Teachers Union, the WICSU PSU, the NRPB, and the APFO St. Martin, because these are the 4 unions strong that represent civil servants. So therefore, brothers and sisters, workers in St. Martin government civil service, please be patient and know that you have representation, but not that alone. When the call for mobilization reaches the forefront, please join your leaders in showing what we demand as number one, respect, and number two, as communication, two, and number three, as critical. This is not the time. Whatever we are doing in St. Martin, if we are doing something good, we have to do something for progress. This definitely would mean that you are carrying the human beings behind, and as also part of the anti-poverty platform, we cannot really, we cannot agree with anything that would make the working class of civil servants hit the line downward, the spiral line, and go into actually in poverty for those 2 or 3 years. I don't even know the term, but I am saying this is not something that is going to be taken lightly. So definitely the tone set today is we will be mobilizing our membership on this issue.
People all across St. Martin are switching to a more rewarding experience. The WIB MasterCard Fun Miles credit card, better known as My Card. Earn 1 fun mile for every $2 spent, even abroad and online. This will quickly get you a ton of fun miles to redeem for travel, shopping, food, fuel, and much more. But there's more to My Card. Worldwide acceptance, an EMV chip for extra security, and 250 free fun miles with first use. Switch to My Card today at WIB.
Fun miles, from within your reach.
Tell them. Connecting you.
Was announced by a person last week, I think, has garnered a reaction from the Chamber of Labor Unions. In fact, they opposed strongly, and they thought that you should have contacted them prior to you making the announcement. Your take on this?
Thank you very much. Look, fact is that we are in dire times, and I am sure that our unions also know that. I chose to announce that these measures will be coming forth. They have to be approved by our Council of Ministers first. We're also going to seek the support of members of Parliament, and definitely we are going to open a dialogue with the unions in the hope that we find solutions together as to how to mitigate the liquidity problem that this island is in. And let me be very clear, if we do nothing, and even if we do a lot of things, we are facing serious, serious liquidity problems. So I am hoping for a positive dialogue with the unions. I am sure they will, because I know them to be responsible unions. The items that I've brought forward Many of them, as I say, will somehow or the other affect the workers. But there's others also that just relate to following up to them doing their work the way they need to be done. For instance, I was just thinking about a couple, like we talked about the working of the internal audit function. In cost cutting, there's things like vehicle repairs. There are many cars that are being used by government employees and departments that go for repairs. Right now, I do not know of a system in place where the person who is the driver or the person to whom the car has been assigned to, I don't think that they get to see, for instance, the repair work that is done to the vehicle. So a car breaks down, the driver knows it has to do with maybe brakes. It goes to the garage, it gets repaired, and the bill comes in. I, right now, cannot tell you that that bill is presented to the driver or the person who is in charge of that car to verify that the items that were repaired are actually the items that needed to be repaired. Maybe more repairs were done to it, but who gets it is someone in a department who just sees the bills and then signs them off and sends it for payment. Nobody verifies if the actual repair that needed to be done was done, or if more was done, or if not enough was done, but a bill gets paid. So that's one. Another small thing was brought to my attention just now. We get water quite often. We get water put on our tables before we start a meeting. The bottles of water that we get right now are half-liter bottles. At the end of the meeting, you walk away and you see probably 90% of the bottles are still half full, maybe some three-quarters full. That gets thrown out because they're now opened. Maybe we should buy smaller bottles of water and save some money. So it's not only employees of the government, it is the entire structure of government that is going to be looked at, and that's just a couple of items that I'd like to mention. That's it.
It's been said that behind every door, possibility awaits. How much possibility depends on which door you open first. Every day, we help our customers discover the possibilities in their lives. It all starts with a conversation. Scotiabank. Discover what's possible.
One,
2,
3,
4. This is how common it is to develop a mental illness. 1 out of every 4.
4,
4.
4. But there is hope. Today, most mental illnesses can be managed and treated. Visit your general doctor if you feel concerned about your thoughts and behaviors or have some difficulty dealing with some of life's issues.
If you have been diagnosed and are suffering from a mental illness, keep in mind these 4 points to help you manage your mental health.
1. Get regular checkups with your general doctor.
2. Stay on your treatment plan to prevent relapses.
3. Find a strong support group in your family and friends.
And 4. Never be afraid to ask for help and look out for the warning signs of your illness.
Remember, you are not alone. We are as close as one.
2.
3.
4.
Learn about mental health illness by going to the Mental Health Foundation's website at www.mhf-sxm.com.
it was about over a year and a half when I stood here in the same position and I addressed the public of St. Martin for the very first time as their representative. Madam Chair, I felt very proud to have had the opportunity to do so. And today, Madam Chair, I stand here again, proud to be able to thank the people of St. Martin for giving me that opportunity, that privilege to serve them. Madam Chair, as the speakers before me have indicated, these are times that are necessary within the House of Parliament and within the whole political sphere. And as such, you deal with them as you are confronted with them. Obviously, for me, personally, I would have loved to serve a full term in Parliament, but that is just a personal feeling. But the reality is, in this political world, that sometimes the opportunities get cut shorter than anticipated. But nonetheless, Madam Chair, it does not take away from the privilege and the pride that you feel as one who, was born just a few blocks down the road, not up, and have the opportunity to, live within a community, have that community shape you, and then you reach to the level where you can give back to the community in this capacity. So, it is something that is very much a privilege. The experiences in Parliament, Madam Chair, would remain with me throughout my life for a lot of different reasons. Because oftentimes when we speak in Parliament, we deliver from our experiences, from our beliefs, from our own motives. But every time we speak, Madam Chair, it should come on behalf of the people that we represent. And that is, and those before me talk about party lines and party colors. That goes beyond the politics of the House, because it's about the people of the country. Whether you are part of the 15 members that are sitting today, or you've been part of the 15 members that sat before, or you will be watching the other 15 members who will be sitting, tomorrow. It is always about the people. And, generations come and generations go. And that is something that I find that we would always have to keep at the forefront. There were a few experiences that I've had in the past year and a half in serving the people that stood out, and one I'll talk about today that stays with me until this day is the one of the meetings we had with representatives, the young people from the University of St. Martin, when we were discussing the plight that the university was going through at the time. And I said to them, and it's important for us to take things into context, because right now is also a similar situation like that, is that in the present moment, it may seem like things are not going right. Things are not going the way that we want them to go. But in terms of history would prove that at a point in time, there was a group, an individual, a circumstance, a situation that required a response, and this is how the people responded at that point in time. And then history would then go on to explain it. And if I take that little example to the example that we were confronted with after Hurricane Irma, the people were expecting their representatives to act. The people were expecting their representatives to have their back. The people were expecting their representatives to go out and do whatever it takes in order for them, as per our Constitution, to be taken care of by their government. And history will show that that, you know, the group of individuals who decided on that fateful day to take the actions that were taken did so in the interest of the people. And that is very, very important, despite the, you know, the situation that we're in today, or the result of that decision. But the decision in itself had to be made in order for us to be able to have a future in this country that we feel is deserving for its people.